What did you think about LeBron James bringing up Space Jam in the post game after being eliminated from playoff contention? Did you think that was appropriate, Mark?
I didn't hear that. Did he really?
No, yeah. He was like, we got a lot looking forward to, such as in July. I got to team up with the Toon Squad. And then, and he was like, so I got that looking forward to. And it was just like instant. And so that got a lot of backlash because it was like, oh, so your heart wasn't really in it.
I was busy being miserable that night, so I missed a lot. But I did not know that. That's hilarious.
So LeBron, who again is Hollywood, he's Mr. Hollywood. Like, I'm not surprised. A lot of people ask me, like, how can you like support LeBron? And I'm like, I can support his career. I'm not a hater. Like, I can support his basketball career. I just don't stand for a lot of things he says off the court.
Which we discussed plenty of times.
Right.
And we criticize him a lot because he kind of does it to himself, especially something like this now. I mean, obviously, it's like you're using that time to plug your movie that's coming. Kobe wouldn't do that.
Kobe would never do that.
So that's the bar. Like
Kobe would never be like, this season's sad. It really, like, I can't believe I just finished my career, but I have a documentary coming out. It's going to be an Emmy favorite soon, so please watch it.
Yeah. Watch my new thing on YouTube. Like, he would never say that. So like but maybe because we're spoiled, and maybe I'm spoiled as Laker fans. That was what we experienced, and that's what we expect. So expectations are being met. So that's why we kind of we do on LeBron James sometimes.
Yeah, Michael Jordan was like, I have a new movie coming out. It's called The Gambler, and it's about my gambling addiction. You gotta know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to
I forgot the rest of the part. Know when to
All right, that's
I only know that song when I'm drunk. Let me know.
Like all karaoke.
Absolutely.
But that's the sad part is like LeBron James is Mr. Hollywood. LeBron James would be cool if he just like donated to the schools like he did. Like if he just like was like giving stuff away and then didn't like look for the glory. What are you about to say?
Do you think he's like a robot that's like programmed to say certain things?
No, I don't think he's a robot. I think it would be better if he was a robot.
Well, because sometimes it feels like that. Because he's like, oh yeah, like maybe like they accidentally had the wrong setting on him. Like make sure to plug Space Jam 2. I was like, oh wait, no, after the postseason or after the post game interview.
No, it's not like Zuckerberg or Musk.
Okay, so that's what I was thinking.
I
watched too much Rick and Morty, so maybe that's what it is.
No. I think what it is okay. So I talked about Drive to Survive on this show before, right? F1.
Love it.
Oh yes, yeah.
Okay, so I got Mike on it. Lewis Hamilton is essentially Lewis Hamilton, who's considered the greatest, if not one of the greatest F1 drivers of all time. He is the British LeBron James.
Okay.
So the best way I can compare the two for like F1 fans who are like, I don't get LeBron James. I'm like, he's the American version of Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton is a vegan. Lewis Hamilton's all about Black Lives Matter. Lewis Hamilton is like always on his self-righteous podium, and then as soon as you get a little bit of taste of the behind the scenes stuff, it's always the ugliest stuff. So my friend just sent me a video because after a win, he'll be like, thanks, team. You guys did great. Like, it's them in the pit and, like, everyone's celebrating. And he's down the radio going, like, thanks, team. You guys are the best. I don't know what I could do without you. And then after he messed up on the last race where it was, like, 2 laps to go and he, like, his legs locked up because he hit the wrong button. After the race, they were, like, going, like, what did you have to learn after that? He was like, I don't need to learn anything. He was like, I don't need to learn anything. And they were like, well, who's at fault? And he was like, was it your pit? And he was like, yeah, they can learn. So this guy is very much like LeBron James when, like, you remember the days from Cleveland where, like, or when he walked off the court in Phoenix.
Yeah.
It's just like he doesn't want to sit in it. Like, he just wants to move on to the next thing because he's that successful.
And to make the comparison even more thorough is that Lewis Hamilton's got the best car. I mean, by far.
Has the best car.
He's got the best car by far, and LeBron James has got the best body by far. I mean, he's the best athlete, even still at this age.
He's with the best team. The best franchise is
best
franchise.
It wasn't probably the best team, but that's another thing that you could.
That's a great point because Mercedes spends more than anybody, and the Lakers have the ability to spend just as much as anybody as well.
Right.
Yeah, Lakers are like a perfect storm of everything. So I mean, why wouldn't you want to play in Los Angeles under the Lakers because of everything? I mean, the history, the culture, the fans. So it makes sense.
So yeah, was I able to explain that? Well, I know you don't watch
I got it.
F1.
No, I get it. No, I totally get it.
I just don't want anybody to lose.
You're saying LeBron's an a-hole.
Pretty much. Like LeBron, like I don't think the times that I want LeBron, especially in terms of like what they speak for vocally, off of like off the track and off the court, like they might like sound like, oh, they're like sticking up for Black Lives Matter, but then they'll also dig themselves in a hole when they don't address other issues. Yeah. And so it's like a catch-22.
Like a virtual signaling kind of thing.
Can I tell you one more story?
Yes, absolutely. I want to hear this.
Okay, so
anything that's not Lakers related, so I don't bleed inside.
Mercedes used to have white kit, and then when Black Lives Matter resurfaced and like they were like huge, Lewis Hamilton was like, we need to go black, like black car, black kit, like black helmet and all that stuff, which they look sleek. They look really dope.
Yeah, I wear black all the time.
So Finland, the driver in the second seat's from Finland. He's this guy named Botas. Botas goes like, Botas was like, man, it's really hot. He goes, I don't think I could wear this black all the time. And so people are like, racist!
We knew it! We knew it!
But he's from Finland, so it's just like he comes from like naturally cooler temperature.
Dude, he's like, it's like you put a husky in Arizona.
Or like a polar bear, yeah.
It's a racist dog. You say it's hot out here.
And he's driving 200 miles per hour. Like people lose weight driving, like NASCAR racers like lose up to 10 pounds each race.
That's crazy. This is the same guy that there's footage in F1 Drive to Survive, like what he does to relax is like he hangs out with his personal trainer in the nude, like in
sauna.
In a sauna, but that's like a sauna in the middle of like a field of snow. It's insane.
Really? Interesting.
And you're like, this is how I keep warm. No. So that's good. But it's like those two things where it's just like, okay, like Muhammad Ali stood up for a cause. Like always like compare like LeBron to Muhammad Ali. Like he stood up for a cause. I know you're trying to stand for a cause, but at the same time, you kind of do dig yourself in the hole with the China situation.
And with LeBron, like, I mean, he kind of just exposed himself, just kind of like he showed his cards, like, okay, what his real interests were. I mean, like, that's what, like, I mean, you know, during that post game. So it's kind of like, yeah, was he even there too? I mean, I was assuming his ankle was bothering him because he wasn't as explosive either.
Yes.
So like, that's what I'm saying. Like everyone was just banged up. I mean, everyone was banged up, and the Suns were a better team.
Stop saying that part.
They were a better team.
They
Mike,
were not.
Do you think they were a better team?
Well, I mean, it's so hard to say. Devin Booker is an amazing player.
They were crushing us. Yeah,
he's an amazing player. In his car game, did you see his car game?
No.
He showed up in game 1, I think, in a 86 Buick Grand National. And then he showed up in the last game in a 71 Caprice donk. And
this
so
guy, he knew he was gonna win.
Shout out to that guy. But it's hard for me to call any team with Chris Paul in it a better team because I hate that guy.
No, I do too.
I think that Devin Booker was the most explosive player in the series.
Yeah, but I mean, when you guys got like Jay Crowder hitting threes on us, and that other dude, that weird looking guy,
Cameron Payne.
Yes.
Yeah.
He reminded me of remember see that movie Enemy Me?
No.
He had like the skull like structure.
His head looked like the helmet for like Speedwalker.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
very aerodynamic.
I'll show you a picture of what I'm talking about.
Or a very like early age caveman.
He dropped like points on us. Like I feel like, but that's every team. When they play the Lakers, for some reason they play the best game of their lives.
So look, I don't think the Suns were the better team. I just think they got hot at the right time.
I mean, they did just beat Denver.
Again, dude, game 4. Okay, no, here's the thing. Game 4, Lakers were up 10, and then literally, like, once AD got hurt, that changed the entire momentum because it was like Suns practically leading by double digits the rest of the series.
They looked like lost puppies. Like, they just didn't know what to do. And I'm like, come on, guys. Like, you guys know what to do. Yeah. But they just – and that's what kills me. That's why I go, okay, it had to be more mental. Because, I mean, as much as they were banged up, they could still kind of play, but, like, they just looked so, like, lost and not concentrated.